G'day, my name is Dainsy, and I have now sold my bandsaw, my miter saw, my wood lathe, and my beautiful old jointer. And I have no regrets. None. Not one little bit. It has been a while since I kicked off a project with a huge pile of pallets. 13 pine pallets, and the plan for this pile is to produce as much stock as possible to start the great shed extension. Which makes sense. Now that I've sold my house, it seems like a really good time to extend my shed. And I've just sold a few machines, so there is heaps more space in here, so again, it makes sense to extend my shed. Now, get yourself a Dave Kelly. Let me give you the big picture of what I'm working on, as this may take a few videos and several more piles of pallets to get through. At the moment, I have kind of a pseudo shed extension with my rollout CNC station and storage. This was originally the miter saw area. My routine is to wheel this station outside, slide out the CNC, which creates all this floor space and room to breathe, and the CNC operates outside the shed walls, and it's protected by a plywood cubby house and a thick black plastic raincoat. All jokes aside, this is an unreal solution and one of my best shed changes that I've made so far. Pushing something of yours outside your space by 1 to 2 feet may just make all the difference to your workflow and reduce a little of the frustration you can get in a small space. Right. No room to slide. Oh, I just cocked my ass. I will go through the usual routine of busting down the pallets, shooting out the nails, and I have managed to get all 13 done in one morning session. I like to stack up the slats, keep them flat so they don't get any shonkier. For now, I'll focus on the slats and see how far I can stretch them, and I'll put aside the stretchers with all those nails hanging out for later on, possibly. First one. Right, so this is the world's fastest straightening jig. I am going to get into the specific reasons why I am extending the shed in the next video. For now, all we need to know is that I'm producing all the stock required to build a big storage area that is waterproof, soundproof, is awesome, and most importantly, it needs to be easily transportable, ready for when or wherever I go next. Now, there is not an epic woodworking project in this video, but I do want to talk about tools that have come and gone from this space, as well as share what I would do differently if I had to start over again, and it'd be really cool if you stick with me. Alrighty, thanks for sticking with me. Step 1 to building a shed extension out of pallets is to turn short lengths of pallet wood into long lengths of strong, usable pallet wood, or into long 2x4s. You know, the stuff that you can buy off the shelf ready to go. Now, of course, I'm not going to go out and buy wood because firstly, that is not what I do here. Secondly, and the main reason is because so many of you have relentlessly bullied me into extending my shed with pallets. And when I say so many of you, I mean about, 5 comments. But honestly, I really just want to make it out of pallets because that sounds cool and I think it will be pretty fun. It has actually been a while since I did a big slab glue up, and the goal here is to turn a standard pallet board into a 2x4 by about 1500. So although this looks like a slab, when I take the clamps off, there will actually be 2 or 3 long beams, 2x4s. Balancing boards across 4 clamps is not ideal, which I should have been well aware of. The small pieces drop down, but I figured the glue will help me out, and it didn't. So small pieces dropped off the bench, or they kept dropping down in between the clamps, and overall it was a bit of a shit fight. I won't be doing it this way again. I have better methods which I should have really remembered. Okay, with this method I simply lay a piece of grease-proof paper down on a board that already has a straight edge screw to it, and I use that as a clamping edge, and then all you need to do is lay all your pieces down again like a bricklaying puzzle and clamp them to that straight edge. Too easy. Again, it has been a while and I was not quite prepared. And obviously the straight edge needs to be able to support the directional pressure of the clamps that you are using, and I ended up fluffing around a lot to get this fixed and sorted while the glue was quickly setting. And as you can see, the slab was lifting up off the workbench. And all in all, it again was a bit of a shit fight. So I did switch the clamps directly onto the timber, discarded the straight edge and hoped it was straight enough for now. There is no way that the pallet boards alone are going to be enough stock, so I've decided to use the broad stretchers as well, and I reckon I can get these easily glued up into a slab and slice those up into more 2x4 stock. When I denail and I break off a few nails, I will have a quick dig and see if I can pull that nail out. But at some point, the squeeze has to be worth the juice, if you know what I'm saying. For this one, I'm just going to cut it off. There's actually 3 broken nails. That's 3 digs. That is not worth, for me, the time to get that much wood. Because of all those embedded nails and the bits that I've discarded, I'll end up with all sorts of different lengths, which is all good, as I'll do the same bricklaying lamination like I did with the pallet boards themselves. Two things. I'm not sure why I thought gravity would affect the chunkier wood less than the slats from before. That was a bit of a shit fight. Now, secondly, what I should have just done, I should have just laid the wood flat on the bench, glued it up into a rough slab, put the first clamps on the top. I'm not having an awesome day. Then I could flip it over, put more clamps on, okay, let's keep it simple this time. A board to catch a little bit of the glue, straight edge to get it pretty straight, but not totally necessary. Then I'll just create the slab to the size I need and the width, and then go ahead, smother it in glue, clamp it from the top, flip it over, clamp it from the bottom, even clamping pressure. And that should be the way to do these tall boards, I think. It is the way, compared to the last way. Okay, this is just me doing weird business things that you need to try and do. Just got to interrupt myself. That was just me attempting to ask you to click a like button, which is quite a little bit insignificant to what I'm about to talk about. You've seen this oversized check square in front of me while I've been speaking. Now, my mate Trent, he thought it'd be funny to print one of these out, which is cool. I love it. Then he saw Phil's latest video, and mate Phil's actually struggling pretty badly at the moment. He's suffering from bowel cancer. And Trent saw the video. He thought maybe we could flog a few of these off, send the cash to Phil. I said, that is a cool idea. I contacted Anthony as well. He's gonna redo some slogans, maybe say something like get your bum checked. And we're gonna sell them. All the money's going to Phil, and hopefully that'll help him out for a while while things aren't going so great. I'll get these up on my website as soon as possible. There'll be some variants, different ways to buy them, either through myself, Trent, or Anthony. But please know that the profit, which is almost 100% profit, is going to Phil. Update this as it evolves. It's very much just literally happened yesterday. Again, wishing Phil all the best. Cheers, mate. You got this. This slab is a combination of the stringers and the pallet slats. As long as you alternate, everything is going to glue up swimmingly. And for this one, I need to work within the limitations of a single F-clamp. Don't think I'll film this one. I think we've seen enough glue and spatula action for one day. About 8 years ago, I started woodworking, and I went down pretty much the same woodworking path that most woodworkers go down. When it comes to tools, we just get started with what we have, and what we generally have is pretty basic tools like a couple of drills, maybe a miter saw or a circular saw, because we can't yet afford or justify a table saw to our significant other, or we haven't realised yet that we really need one. We make some cash, we save our monies, and we finally get a basic table saw like a job site saw. We make a few more things, we decide to upgrade the miter saw unnecessarily for accuracy and other reasons. We see bandsaws and all sorts of benchtop sanders on the YouTube, and we convince ourselves we probably need some of those. We save up more monies to get a thickness of planer. It is amazing and a game changer, but we probably should work towards a jointer now, because I'm getting serious out here, and that would be faster and better and more professional, and so on until every space in our shed is full of tools, and we can't really move or operate very efficiently in our small space. The thing is, there is nothing wrong with any of that. Oh, check it out. Gonna get to use my lowering outfeed table here. Now it is set to the exact height. I'm just going to drop it down a little bit. Can't snag, but then they can just naturally fall off. Then I can push it through the saw safely. It does let me have shit on top and, you know, lower and raise it as required. Pretty cool. This woodworking caper generally starts as a hobby, and then it starts to morph into an out of control hobby / side hustle. So buying or upgrading tools is always going to be justified in our own heads and sheds. You made that thing, then that thing makes that money. So you go spend that money on better stuff to then make more of the things better and maybe more efficiently, and maybe get a little bit more money. Happy days. Side hustle or full business human. All right, couple of gotchas from this glue up. I had one join on that glue up where I wasn't paying attention, and I had two blocks basically lining up together, and I didn't put any glue and try and butt these things longitudinal. The other one where some have joined and they're only hanging on by a thin piece, but that's basically just going to break in half. The two final cuts of those big slabs, they weren't the thickness that I needed, so I've actually got to come back and add some more stock to those. All of these rails are going to meet up with another rail, so they're going to gain some additional strength as they meet on the seams. I'm not overly concerned. Now, I don't believe in buy once, cry once, and I made a whole video about it, but in a nutshell, if you decide to stick to buy once, cry once, you may never just get started. And if you have plenty of cash, this advice probably doesn't apply to you. I did say I have no regrets selling any of the machinery and tools that I have had. I do have some buyer's remorse though, but only in hindsight, and only now as I can look back and think about how I could have done things differently. This is a combination of stretchers and pallet slats. Just letting me use up even more timber, get some more rails out of all this stock. But yeah, I think this would actually look quite cool. Sand it off a bit so it actually looks a bit up and down, a bit rough. Would be a nice little feature. Maybe you could do the old Susie bang, get the blowtorch. I did not miss the bandsaw at all. The miter saw, that was just a case of adjusting to using my table saw only and a hand circular saw. The wood lathe, I can talk about that later. And the jointer, why would you sell that beautiful old machine, I hear you say. Simple. I don't need it. I don't need it right now. I have a table saw, a thicknesser, and a router in a router table, and those machines can all pick up the slack in different creative ways. My future plan is to again save up the monies and buy a combination machine, a thicknesser jointer. But that is a very, very future and probably not in this shed plan. Again, in hindsight, what I wished I had have done differently was not bought a bandsaw for $1,000 or upgraded the miter saw for $1,000 and just put that money aside to either upgrade to a cabinet saw or invest in the decent router and router lift, which I've finally done now. When I think about my setup now, I have a decent table saw and a router setup as the workhorses of my shed, along with the planer thicknesser. Again, looking back, I think I should have just stuck to my job site saw and a small trim router in the DIY table along with the thicknesser, and just flogged the life out of those and only upgraded those things when the time was right. I probably would have got to this setup a lot earlier. I do acknowledge I received this table saw in exchange for producing a lot of video for the TimberCon channel. It was not for free. Again, in hindsight, I think I would have preferred to have spent my own money on a saw of my own 100% choosing, rather than committing so much time to having to pay the saw back in content. But again, hindsight is a beautiful thing, and I just want to share my thoughts. In 8 years, I do think I've done a pretty good job of only buying the tools I need that help get the job done efficiently, and that they have a good level of versatility. Again, if you are thinking versatility, a table saw and a router is going to open up a whole world of woodworking opportunity. The jointers and planers can definitely wait. Remember, the trusty router can flatten a slab or a pallet wood lamination quite easily. Don't get me wrong, it is hard, messy work, but it definitely does the job. My upgrade to a thicknesser was 100% justified for the efficiency and catching of the mess alone. I don't want to go back to the router flattening routine ever. I have done my time on that. In fact, I made about 80 pieces of pallet wood furniture that all had pallet lamination slab tops. Safe to say, I have done my time. Okay, quick blab on the lathe. I have sold that too. Dale is going to be looking after that from now on. I did love the lathe. I made and sold so many mallets, which well and truly paid for the lathe in a very short amount of time. And a lot of people are already asking me, why wouldn't you keep making mallets when they are so popular? The short answer is time. They are time consuming, and although they are a great cash injections a couple of times per year, I would rather spend that time now working on other things. Now, mallets are not over for me. I am working on a plan in my brain to produce them again. Still unique and cool, just with a little help from my shed workmate. In this video, I've produced all the stock with a table saw, thicknesser, lots of glue and clamps. That's it. 13 pallets turned into nice chunky beams that are just shy of 90 by 50 mil. I've got two lengths. Some lengths I'll get one piece out of. The long ones I'm going to get two out of. There's more over here. Let's call that the hard work done. Okay, now let me try and depict actually how much wood is here. Probably not really going to show it, but a massive pile of rails. We were limited by a pallet length of about a meter, 1.2, all laminated together to let me create 750mm hexagon sides. My stock is acceptably square on all four sides, and acceptable is completely acceptable on this project. So from here on, for a while anyway, you will start seeing me use my machines in different ways to achieve perfectly square stock on all four sides. I will not be reinventing any wheels. There is literally a billion videos on YouTube showing us all how we can achieve these results utilizing alternate machines or what we have available to us. I'm definitely keen to have a jointer again one day, but it must be a combination to save space with the footprint. It has to have a helical cutter head and actually have dust extraction. But I have no regrets selling the jointer. That machine has so much history, and now it is going into another Townsville workshop, and I'm sure the Resonate Woodco blokes will give it a good workout, and it is just one of those old machines that you cannot break. Alrighty, hope to see you in the next video in this series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of head scratching. I have been a little cagey not to give it away. You're all very smart people, and I'm sure that you've probably figured out what I'm going to do. And if you have been following me on Instagram, you've probably already figured it out. Okay, get yourself a Dave Kelly. Catch you later.